All right, let's get into it. Today, we're diving into this incredible, ancient story about a king, a promise, and a choice so intense it literally shook the heavens and the earth. And it all boils down to a really simple but really, really tough question.
No, seriously, think about that for a second. Is it something you can actually measure? Can you put a price tag on it? Or is its value just absolute? Well, we are going to explore that exact idea through the amazing legend of a guy named King Shibi.
So meet our hero, King Shibi. And he is not just any king. He's what's known as a bodhisattva, basically a being who's on the path to becoming a fully enlightened Buddha. And his whole deal, his defining feature, is this boundless, radical compassion for every single living thing, no matter how small. He's even sworn a vow to protect anyone who comes to him for help.
But, not everyone's buying it. Way up in the heavens, Indra, who's the king of the gods, is pretty skeptical. He's heard about this king and his big promises, but he figures they're like fish eggs or delicate flowers. Sure, there are a lot of them to start, but very few ever actually turn into something real. He just thinks big vows are easy to make, but almost impossible to keep when things get tough.
So you've got this celestial debate brewing. Indra is determined to prove that Shibi's compassion has a breaking point. But his divine architect, a god named Vishvakarman, argues, no, this king is the real deal. Indra, wanting to settle it, basically says, well, true gold has to be tested by fire, and he cooks up a plan to see if the king's vow will shatter under pressure.
So here's the plan they come up with. It's as simple as it is cruel. Vishvakarman is going to turn himself into a small, terrified little dove. Indra, he's going to become a vicious, hungry hawk. The hawk will chase the dove, forcing it to fly for refuge with the one person who is sworn to protect all beings, King Shibi. The stage is set. End scene. Down on Earth, the king's just holding court when all of a sudden, this terrified dove with these wild crimson eyes comes flapping into the hall. It's trembling, and it dives right into the king's lap. And just moments later, a hawk lands on a perch nearby, its eyes locked on its prey. The hawk, perched there like a judge, does not waste a second. It speaks, its voice sharp and clear, demanding the king hand over its meal. And just like that, the battle lines are drawn. The king's promise of sanctuary is now in a direct head-to-head conflict with the hawk's basic right to survive. And this is where the hawk just brilliantly traps the king with his own philosophy. The king's whole thing is protecting any being who needs help. But the hawk flips it right back on him. Hey, you promised to protect all beings. Well, hello, am I not a being? By saving the dove, you're literally starving me to death. So where's your compassion for me?
The king, totally seeing the hawk's point, offers it anything else, the finest meats from his royal kitchens. But the hawk's not having it. Nope. Its nature, it says, demands fresh meat, still warm. And that corners the king completely.
You see the bind he's in, right? It is an absolutely impossible dilemma. To honor his promise to the dove, he can't give it up. But to give the hawk the fresh meat it demands, well, that would mean killing some other animal, which would completely shatter his vow of compassion for all life. So after thinking it through, the king finds the one and only solution that doesn't violate his principles. He can't take another creature's life, but he can offer his own. He calls for a sharp knife and a balance scale. He's going to trade his own body for the life of the dove. The hawk agrees, but with a condition. The weight of the flesh has to exactly match the weight of the dove. So the king puts the dove on one side of the scale and carves a piece from his own thigh for the other. But the scale doesn't budge. The dove is heavier. So he cuts from his other thigh, then his hips, then his chest, his back, until there is almost no flesh left on his body. And still, the dove outweighs him. Now, this is where you realize there's some divine magic at play. This isn't about physics. That scale isn't measuring pounds and ounces. It's measuring the immeasurable value of a life that he is sworn to protect. A single, tiny life, in this moment, is worth more than the king's entire body. His court is horrified, and they try to shield people from this gruesome sight, but the king stops them. He says this isn't just about the dove anymore. This is a lesson. He's showing the entire world what true commitment to enlightenment really looks like. It means being willing to endure anything for the sake of others. With nothing left to cut, the king makes his final, ultimate move. Using the very last of his strength, he pulls his own skeleton, dripping with blood, onto the scale. He is offering not just a piece of himself, but the whole shebang, his entire being. And at the very moment he places himself on the scale, the entire cosmos responds. The ground shakes, the oceans roar, and miracles start happening. Withered trees burst into flower. The universe itself is bearing witness to this ultimate act of self-sacrifice. And the gods? They just weep and rain down flowers from the sky. And in that instant, poof, the illusion drops. The hawk and the dove transform right back into the gods, Indra and Vishwakarman. The test was over. King Shibi had been faced with a truly impossible choice, and he had passed with flying colors. But Indra, he's got one last question for the mutilated king. He asks, after all of this, carving up your own body, enduring this unimaginable pain, do you feel even the tiniest bit of anger or regret? This is the final test, the test of his heart. The king's answer is just mind-blowing. He says his heart isn't filled with pain at all. It's filled with joy. And then he performs what's known as a sacred act of truth. He makes this powerful declaration: if my vow was pure, if I truly felt zero regret, then let my body be made whole again. And because his words were the absolute 100% truth, a miracle happens. His body becomes whole again, and not just like it was before. It's even more perfect, more radiant. It's like his inner purity literally reshaped his physical body. This whole epic, wild story is a demonstration of a core Buddhist idea called Dana Paramita, or the perfection of giving. And what it means is that real generosity isn't just about giving what's easy or giving what you have extra of. It's the willingness to give what is most precious to you, even your own body, without a second of hesitation or regret, all for the well-being of someone else.
And that leaves us with a pretty powerful question to think about, doesn't it? King Shibi put the life of a tiny bird above his own body, and its weight on that divine scale was infinite. So it's worth asking ourselves, what do we value that much? What principle, what person, what idea in our own lives holds a weight that is truly, completely beyond all measure?